Alrighty then. How are we getting on? Just give us a second as usual, ladies and gentlemen, just to get our chat up on the other screen. But it's an early one. We're half 10 in the morning and we're fucking streaming. This is just different gravy. So not really expecting to see anyone in the chat, but if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. Nice one. So, hello guys, how are you getting on? My name's Aaron Kelly and welcome back to The Verdict. Back again. It's been a while since we've done a Verdict stream. The last stream I wanted to do, I was planning on doing one for the Ireland game during the international break, but unfortunately the internet was fucking ass. So we ended up going live on TikTok as well, which was actually very, very enjoyable as well. What we're going to do today, we're not going to bring up the Verdict graphic that we usually have with our green and our yellow and our red boxes. What we'll do instead is we're going to talk about arguably the biggest game for the weekend, probably the most entertaining game of the weekend, especially if you're a neutral party, I guess you could say. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2 at Stamford Bridge. And on paper, if you had offered me a 2-2 draw with this Arsenal team pre-kickoff, I'd have snapped your hand off. Absolutely would have taken it. Would have, on paper, been a brilliant result. Considering, number one, Chelsea's record this season. Obviously we've been better in the last couple of weeks, but especially when you consider the record against the best teams in the division, not only this season, but in recent times. I mean, the only traditional top 6 side we've played this season was Liverpool on opening day. So, it's not a huge kind of survey area to go off. But I'm talking like in recent times, the, I guess, quality of our performances against top 6 opposition just hasn't been good enough. And if you'd offered me in a draw before kickoff, I'd have taken it. Absolutely. Considering how good this Arsenal team is, they've only just gone and beaten Man City before the international break as well. So, on paper, a point would have been absolutely brilliant for Chelsea. And if you just gave me the result and didn't offer me the context, I'd still be like, wow, what a fucking excellent point for Chelsea. But I think the problem it's the fact that we had this game in the palm of our hands. We had it. We had this game. We had 3 points wrapped up with fucking 20 minutes to go. And I was in the best form watching Chelsea that I've been for a long, long, long time. And that is not an overstatement at all. Because it's been a while since I've watched Chelsea and been genuinely proud of the performance. Like, you look at the way we started the game, the 3 in midfield. I think Caicedo was solid, Enzo was brilliant. Conor Gallagher, though, best of the 3 of them. Once again, I've done a full 180 on Conor Gallagher. He has been absolutely outstanding this season. He really has. And obviously having to captain the side a lot thanks to Reece James's continuous injury woes. But he continues to deliver, Conor Gallagher, and I've nothing but good words to say about him. I thought defensively we were solid. We were Arsenal were offering very little because Chelsea were keeping them so quiet. Thiago Silva looked back to his absolute best. I think Caldwell looked a little bit shaky at times, but the fullbacks, Malo Gusto, up until the Arsenal equaliser, Malo Gusto was absolutely brilliant at right back. You had Cucurella. I need to have a little bit of a chat about this fella. I was ready for Marc Cucurella to leave Chelsea in the summer, but he emptied his pockets when he went home. Out came his keys, out came his wallet, out came his phone, and out came Bukayo fucking Saka. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the madness that we're fucking talking about. Alright? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So there was that. The fullbacks, brilliant. Defensively, overall, brilliant. And going forward, Sterling, I mean, I've kind of done a bit of a 180 on Sterling as well. I can't lie. I think he was a player that looked incredibly washed last season in comparison to what he was at Manchester City. But the way he picks up the ball, he drives with it. It's it's brilliant to watch when he's in full flow, Raheem Sterling. Cole Palmer, right? I'm looking at him thinking to myself, he's what we thought Havertz was, and more. Genuinely. And once again, he steps up and converts the penalty. Mykhailo Mudryk, I thought, was absolutely brilliant as well. And it's great to see him finally come into his own and get into... And his goal, of course, as well, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes' time. But I'm going to presume that the majority of people watching this stream right now are watching it back as a YouTube video. So if you wouldn't mind leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. The support on the channel recently, this year as in a whole, has been absolutely fantastic so far, and I can't stress how grateful I am for that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get into the meat and drink of the game then, shall we? The first goal comes after, 15 minutes, and it was a penalty converted by Cole Palmer after a handball by William Saliba. Now, there was a lot of kind of discourse online about, mainly from Arsenal fans, if we're being honest, and from fucking Jamie Redknapp in the Sky Sports studio, about whether or not this should have been a penalty. That's unfortunately the rule now. Do you know what I'm saying? There was a very similar one in the Merseyside derby earlier on in the day where Michael Keane, Luis Diaz chips it up onto Michael Keane's hand. His hand is out like that. He's out calling for a fucking bus, basically. And the referee gives it. Upon a VAR review, there was a couple of dodgy decisions in that game, actually, including, obviously, Ashley Young was sent off, but that was rightfully so. I think 2 yellow cards, but I do think Ibrahima Konate should have been sent off as well. Anyway, besides the point. So the very similar situation. It's across from the right hand side from, I think it was Sterling. Mudryk just nips in front of Saliba, heads it, and yes, it's a natural position for his arm to be when you're going up, but like, yeah, unfortunately that's the rule. It seems harsh, especially when like you've played the game and you look at it, but at the same time, his hand is away from his side and it's stopping the ball from going towards the goal. So, you know, referee, VAR, they've very little choice but to give that one, I think. And there was a bit of a Barney in the kind of competition for who would take the penalty. Was it going to be Raheem Sterling? Was it going to be Cole Palmer? It was Cole Palmer, and as he did against Burnley before the international break, Cole Palmer calmly dispatches the penalty to give Chelsea the lead. And they were full value for it, but Arsenal started to come back into the game a little bit more. Players like Odegaard and Rice were starting to get on the ball a little bit more into those little pockets in front of the Chelsea back four. But again, not an awful lot for Robert Sanchez to do. And as we go on to find out, Robert Sanchez, with the little bit he did have to do, didn't do too well. 2-0 Chelsea then, right after the half-time interval. And it was a first Stamford Bridge goal for Mykhailo Mudryk. I literally laughed when this goal went in because of the just incredibly strange nature of it. If anyone tries to tell you that Mykhailo Mudryk meant to chip David Raya there, they'd be absolutely correct. I know, I'm joking. He obviously was trying to cross it. You can even see he's like looking up into the centre to see where the options are. And he chips it in, and Raya's positioning is just absolutely all over the gaff. And goes in right over his head to make it 2-0 to Chelsea. And honestly, I expected a bit of an Arsenal fight back. It didn't really come. And that is the most frustrating thing about it. But when you find out what went on to transpire, it's the fact that Arsenal were very, very poor. Arsenal have been very good for the last year and a half, 2 years. Since Arteta's really got them playing to their full potential that we know they can, these kind of standard of players that they have. But this was as poor an Arsenal performance I have seen for a long, long, long time. Chelsea were 2-0 up and were cruising and were full value for the 2-0 lead that they had. And realistically, we look at it, probably should have been more. Nicholas Jackson comes off the bench, and I know he's only coming back from an injury, but these are the kind of chances Nicholas Jackson has missed. He's missed quite a few of these so far this season. It's typical Chelsea striker syndrome, if you will. for some reason decides to try and round David Raya, and he obviously jumps down on it, the Arsenal goalkeeper. And that would have been for 3-0, and honestly would have been game over. But even still, with 15, 20 minutes left in the game, Chelsea were 2-0 up. I genuinely thought it was game over. And you know me, lads, right up until the final whistle of a Chelsea game, I'm pessimistic. I'm thinking to myself, listen, we just got to see this out, see it out. It's not over. But this game looked fucking dead in the water. And that, again, adds to my frustration as a fucking Chelsea fan looking on at this and thinking, it was right there. 3 points against a Big Six rival. Against fucking Arsenal, no less. Yeah? And we fucked it. No, we didn't fuck it. Robert Sanchez fucked it. And that gets us into the Arsenal goal to make it 2-1. It was scored by Declan Rice. And it was just awful. And you just knew when it went in what was coming next. You knew that there was an Arsenal fight back incoming. Because the players, Arteta, the fucking fans behind the goal, they were dead in the water. They had no... It had no fucking bearing. It didn't even look like they were going to come back, is what I'm trying to say. Not even close. Not even close. Sanchez with a very lackadaisical pass looking for, was it Conor Gallagher? And Declan Rice just intercepts it, runs in, first time, shot into the far corner to make it 2-1. And from that point, it was panic stations. The kind of lack of experience in this Chelsea team then really began to show. Passes that were easy passes earlier on in the game just started to kind of lose their target or miss their target. Anything we tried to do wasn't coming off, and Arsenal were having a lot more of the ball. But again, didn't really create anything until they got the equaliser, and it was a cross from the right-hand side. It's gone in over Malo Gusto's head. And Sanchez, not only is he rooted to his line, he's standing behind his fucking line to Trossard, who taps it in at the back post to make it Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2, the final score. And a draw that, even considering the opposition, a draw that feels like a defeat. Honestly. And it just like sums up the very best and the very worst of Chelsea in recent times. This performance did. It was truly shocking. The last 15-20 minutes, like for 70-75 minutes, by far dominating one of the best teams in the league, arguably the second or third best team in the league. Chelsea were dominating them and just fucked it thanks to the goalkeeper. And let's make no mistake here, look, you can look at Pochettino. I think Pochettino coached a win. He coached a win. He was let down by his players ultimately. Some of the changes he made were questionable. Did you have to bring Jackson on? Did you have to take off the likes of Sterling and Palmer, who not only were dangerous going forward, but were, working hard defensively for the team as well? Did you have to do that? Maybe not. Maybe not. But look, I don't think that was a game-changing one. Bringing on Nani Madueke, he was terrible when he came on as well. Should get out, closer to that crosser from the right for the equalising goal for Trossard. But let's make no mistake about it, this is all Robert Sanchez's fault. I mean, you look at it, he doesn't make that mistake if he just plays a nice pass and keeps the ball for Chelsea, keeps possession, and that goal doesn't go in, Chelsea win that game. There's no two ways about it. You can try and argue that until the cows come home. For me, there's no doubt about it that if Sanchez there just keeps his head and just does the right fucking thing, Chelsea see it out and Chelsea claim a massive 2-0 victory over Arsenal. So it's all his fault. It's all his fault. And look, when Sanchez came in, I kind of looked at it and thought to myself, is he an upgrade on Kepa? Probably. But at the same time, I was like, he's also second choice at Brighton. So how good is he really? Do you know what I'm saying? I do think he's a mid-table standard goalkeeper. And that again comes down to, I think, the board. When you look at the transfer kind of policy, is something that's definitely been called into question a lot at Chelsea over the last 2 years. The fact that we've spent £1 billion in the last 2 years and still don't have a world-class goalkeeper is beyond me. Like, I think the most obvious one, Mike Maignan, I've mentioned him a long time ago. What's his name? David De Gea was a free agent. He's better than Sanchez as well. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how we've ended up with him. Ultimately, it's terrible. It's terrible. And it cost us, man. It cost us. It did. That mistake cost us, because once that goes in, I think the nature of the goal as well shows that from that moment on, Chelsea were panicked, and Arsenal took full advantage of that. And I guess you can obviously compliment Arsenal's kind of mentality to get back into the game, and the fact that they showed fight, but only showed it once Sanchez made the mistake and that Declan Rice goal goes in. That doesn't happen, Chelsea win the game. And it just does feel like 2 points dropped. It really does. Now, like I say, I was expecting and predicting a Chelsea defeat before kickoff, and we got a draw out of it, which, like, if you, again, remove the context and it's fine, but like with the context, it's just terrible. I think we got Brentford next. What would I do with Robert Sanchez if it was me? It's hard to say. I don't know if I drop him for Petrovic yet, but certainly I'm going into that Brentford game with a lot less confidence in him, if that makes sense. So I don't know, lads. I don't know. If you're a Chelsea fan, leave in the comment section down below what you reckon we should do with Robert Sanchez, or just the goalkeeper situation in general. You know, for me, this is what happens when you have an average goalkeeper, and that's what Robert Sanchez is. But that's what we knew Robert Sanchez is. He's an average goalkeeper. But yeah, heartbreak. Not I mean, look, on paper, a decent enough start to this horrible run of fixtures that we have between now and Christmas. But again, context is key. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up, lads. If you did enjoy the stream, or if, like I say, a majority of you are going to be watching this as a video, leave a like on it and subscribe if you are new around here. And yeah, more streams coming on YouTube and on TikTok. And we've actually got a second channel video going out tonight, the start of the Spider-Man series. So first link in the description to subscribe to the second channel. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we shall see